three very big updates came from CBSE. So only the subjects that you score highest in, only then you are eligible to sit in your exam too, my dear students. Some subject from here that can also make your final percentage, my dear kids. Do not wait for the board 2 exams, okay? Hello my dear class 10 students, three very big updates came from CBSE and you must know them before attempting your board exams, okay? So what are the three updates, my dear kids? The first update is, we have two exams coming from 2026 onwards. We have two board exams, board 1 and board 2. Board 1 will be conducted from 17th February to 7th March and board 2 will be conducted from 5th May to 21st May, okay? For board 1, result will be declared on 20th April and for board 2, result will be declared on 30th May, okay? So among these, you should know, for board 1, you need to appear for at least 3 subjects. You need to appear for at least 3 subjects, okay? And you need to pass in at least 2. You need to pass, okay, you need not to fail actually in more than 2, okay? You can only fail in 1 or 2 subjects, but if you failed in more than 2 subjects, you won't be able to appear for exam 2, my dear kids. And for also appearing for exam 2, you need to at least give minimum 3 papers. Minimum 3 subjects are required. You need to pass and present. Only then you are eligible to sit in your exam 2, my dear students. Okay. Now, out of these exam 1 and exam 2, which marks will decide your final percentage. So the one you score highest in, okay? So let's say in math, science and SST in board 1, you scored highest in, okay? But in the exam 2, in the board 2, you scored highest in English and Hindi only, okay? So English and Hindi from your board 2 and math, science and SST from your board 1 will make your final percentage, okay? So only the subjects that you score highest in. So if you score highest in exam 1, those will be counted, or in exam 2, those will be counted, or if some subjects from there and some subject from here, that can also make your final percentage, my dear kids, okay? Now, CBSE, what does that? It makes the board 1 little easy, okay, and the board 2 a little tougher, okay? So I would say do not wait for the board 2 exams, okay? What you should do, you should focus on your board 1 and try to get as much marks. Try to score 98%, my dear kids, in your board 1, okay? So that you do not need to worry about board 2. You can totally skip it, as this is totally optional, okay? It is not mandatory for all the students. It is totally optional, okay, my dear kids? Okay. Now, one more thing is there. If you plan to appear, due to some reason, you are planning to appear for board 2 exams, so you can only give the main subjects. So if you are thinking that my IT is good and I can score good and I can still count it as the highest mark, so that is only possible for board 1. You can only appear for the other subjects for your board 1. In board 2, only these subjects. Language, in place of Hindi, if you have any other language, it will work, okay? So for math, science, SST, English and language subject, okay? Now, what is the second update? Proper sectioning. Okay, CBSE has published strict guidelines about it. So you need to properly section. Okay, so let's say in science you have 3 sections: biology, chemistry, physics, right? In SST you have 4 sections. So what you need to do, my dear kids, you need to properly section these questions. Okay, so whenever you are answering in your answer sheet, okay, so let's say you are answering question from section A, okay, then you have section B and section C, right? But let's say you do not know the answer of all the questions in section A, okay? So what will you do? Can you start section B, and then if you remember at the later on, you can answer that section A question. Oh, I remember that question, so can I answer that now? No, you cannot do it like that, okay? CBSE is very strict about its proper sectioning method, okay? So what you should do, you start with section A, leave enough space for all the answers, okay? Even if you remember something at that moment or not, then start with your section B and do the same thing. Complete your section B, leave all the space for any question, any answer you remember later on, okay? And then start your section C. That's how you will not lose any marks, my dear kids, okay? Now, update 3 is on the type of question. What kind of questions will be there in your question paper? So this year, CBSE has introduced competency-based question, okay? So 50% of your questions will be competency-based questions. 25% questions will be new questions that are not from PYQs. These competency-based questions, you can refer to PYQs and you can get a help from PYQs and the sample papers, okay? These 25% new questions, they are totally new. They have never been discussed or never been published in any PYQs or anything. Okay, so these are the new questions. 10% sample paper. So you have sample papers, not from this year, from the earlier year also, right? So from all those sample papers, they will be coming 10%. These, okay, when PYQ I'm talking about max 7 to 10 years PYQ. Max 7 to 10, maximum 10, 7 to 10 years, okay? So focus on those only and do not go far beyond that, okay? That is more than sufficient. Okay, last 15% will be from your NCERT. NCERT, you have sole examples, back exercise questions, okay? So focus on these questions, as 15% of your questions will be coming from NCERT itself. So these were the 3 big updates, and all the best for your board exams. I am sure you're going to score very good. At 98% I'm aiming for your board exams. Okay, all the best for your board exams, and do not forget to subscribe the channel and give this video a like if you really enjoyed it. Take care. Bye.